We're going to go ahead and get started. And so I would again like to introduce Dr. Shari Yvon-Lewis, Professor and Department Head of the Department of Oceanography here in College Station. Very many thanks again, Shari.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam. I only have just a very few words, which is why you got a slightly longer breakfast this morning. Howdy.
Howdy.
Good. Excellent. Lots of Aggies in here. So for those who are new to Aggie land, however, this is a traditional greeting.
Yes.
I hope those of you who are visiting from out of town hear it frequently and embrace the spirit. I want to welcome you to Texas A&M University for the 2026 Spring GCOOS meeting. I know we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of GCOOS. I remember when GCOOS began. I remember when Worth and Matt, I remember when this was at the beginning. And today I'm looking forward to hearing, and I'm impressed with all that's been accomplished with GCOOS over the last 20 years. It's quite impressive how GCOOS has grown and what it has become. I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing what everybody is doing today in GCOOS, and more importantly, I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with GCOOS over the next 20 years, and I hope to see you all here then. I hope everyone has a wonderful time at the meeting and everything goes swimmingly. This microphone seems to be working right now. So thank you very much and welcome to Aggieland.
Whoop.
Thank you, Shari.
Close that one. Yeah.
Krisa.
Move Krisa's over.
There you are. I'd like to introduce Dr. Krisa Arzayus, the acting IOOS director, who's going to give us with an IOOS program office update.
So good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Krisa Arzayus from the IOOS program office in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I'm excited to be with you today to help celebrate 20 years of GCOOS achievements and success with you. This is my first regional trip as acting IOOS office director since Jeff Payne retired in January. But I've been with IOOS for about 8 years as the deputy director.
There you go.
Yeah, you can advance to the next slide, please. So I wanted to take some time to starting my presentation today, acknowledging how much change has happened over the last year, not only for our office, but for all of you as well. And it's been a bit overwhelming at times. And I am proud of the work that we've all done to keep the IOOS mission moving forward. We've seen some longtime IOOS employees depart, including Carl Goldman and Derek Snowden in April of 2025, and more recently, Jeff Payne, as I mentioned, and Dave Easter when they retired this past January. We've also experienced some pretty drastic changes to our staffing levels across NOAA and other staff losses within our office. Apologies, I have a little bit of a cold, so bear with me. Many of our business processes were put on pause and revamped over the last year across NOAA. Travel was severely curtailed. There was a lot of uncertainty over this past year across, I think, every aspect of the federal landscape. So I'm excited that we're all still here, we're still working, and we're still dedicated to advancing our observing system to meet the safety, economic, and stewardship needs of the nation. Other changes, right? The FY26 NOFO was supposed to have come out last summer. You were supposed to have 6 months to work on it. We were supposed to have 7 months to process applications. No one anticipated that the NOFO approval process that used to take a week would end up taking over 8 months. So we're now trying to really get into catch-up mode. With the NOFO closing yesterday, the ball is now in our court. And from our office, we're also working hard, as are some of you, on the disaster relief funding opportunity and trying to meet the requirements for new approval processes and a significant lower capacity to do all this. There's been a lot that's out of our collective control, and we should all give each other some grace. I know you're all working hard, and I want to assure you that the program office is working hard for you as well. Next slide. Coming into my role as acting director, I've laid out 3 priorities for the office. Maintaining the continuity and viability of IOOS. We are a smaller team, both at the leadership level and across the office. And I'm looking to focus on finding additional efficiencies through clear priorities in the office and processes to ensure that we are protecting staff time and minimizing burnout. I'm also looking forward to championing our continued efforts to streamline processes such as environmental compliance, grants management, and records management procedures, among other efforts. The second priority area is reinvigorating federal partnerships. I think in the last year, many of us have kind of retreated to our corners to protect our staff and our space. And so I think as director of IOOS, one of my most important roles is serving as an advocate and champion for our mission. So in that vein, I'm focusing on ensuring that our partners and friends across NOS, NOAA, and other agencies continue to understand the importance and value of IOOS. And the third and last priority area I've laid out is maintaining and enhancing the national network of regional observing systems. There's increasing pressure within NOAA to define our observing system data management and modeling requirements, ensuring network cohesion and alignment of regional implementation with national priorities. So working with our leadership team, I will champion efforts to enhance our overall national and regional governance structures as we work together to continue to evolve and mature IOOS. Next slide. I mentioned we had some staffing changes in our office and leadership changes, so this slide kind of lays all that out for you. Many of our losses were among the IOOS leadership team, so this is the current state of affairs. We have vacancies in our 2 division chief positions for the Regions Budget and Policy Division and the Operations Division. I am excited to announce that we do have an acting deputy coming in on May 3rd, Martin Yapur. He is in NESDIS within NOAA, and a lot of us within the office have worked with him in the past, so I'm excited to have some relief there with an acting deputy. Hiring is very limited across NOAA, but as you may have seen, there are some positions coming out, and NOS. So I don't know when we will be able to advertise for any of our other vacancies. I'll cover some more hiring excuse me, later on in this presentation. Next slide. So for those of you that have seen a budget update from Carl in the past, this is our traditional budget slide showing the president's budget and the enacted budget, and the president's budget are the lighter colors, and the darker colors are the enacted. We have 2 different budget lines in IOOS. We have our what we call the national line that we share with 3 other offices, program offices in NOS, and then and that's the smaller set of numbers. And then we have the regional observations line, which is primarily, that's the main source of funding for the regional associations, and that's the taller lines. And you can see that despite the fluctuations in the president's budget over the years, the enacted budget has more or less stayed constant and or grown over the years, and especially even in this last year, which was, of course, pretty unexpected and challenging. We got a $5 million plus up, thanks to the advocacy from all of you. Next slide. Yeah. Where did I go here? So, sorry. I'll touch on the president's budget. There we go. I'll touch on the president's budget that was released on April 3rd. It's really just the skinny budget, so we only have top line numbers. It's fairly consistent with what was in the FY26 president's budget. Perhaps even more drastic cuts are included. The budget has a proposed $1.6 billion cut for NOAA's operations, research, and grants. The budget does include a proposed $135 million increase above the 26 enacted level for NOAA's shipbuilding and unmanned systems programs to support American maritime dominance and several maritime priorities as laid out in several of the executive orders from the administration. In terms of what we know in the budget tables, it does get into the line office level budgets, but it does not go below that, so I can't really talk about below the line office level, but the NOS FY25 level, for some context, was $672 million. The president's budget for 27 for NOS is $332 million. So the president's budget for 27 is half for the National Ocean Service. Next. Yes. So the IOOS office obligated $46.6 million in FY25 to the Regional Association Awards, and that included $7.3 million of external partner funds. And other grants news, all 3 of the IOOS NOFOs have now been approved and published, which is a pretty big accomplishment. As I mentioned, a lot of the NOFOs have been held up at OMB. And so we were very relieved, as I'm sure you were as well, when the NOFO was published for the regional competition. So the competitive RA-based NOFO was published February 10th and closed yesterday. We had the non-competitive Disaster Resilience Supplemental Appropriations Act funding. That NOFO closed on March 23rd. And the OTT, the Ocean Technology Transition Program NOFO, was published on March 13th. And that NOFO closes on July 16th of this year. The IOOS Act reauthorization, we are, of course, still waiting for that, but there has been movement over the last couple of months, with the House version passing on March 16th, and then on the Senate side, the Senate version was attached to the Weather Act as an amendment and reported out out of the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. So that's very exciting. For other hiring priorities, I mentioned Martine starting on May 3rd for a 6-month detail as the acting deputy. And then in addition to that, NOS has a big modeling priority right now. There's some modeling reorganization, I guess there's a little bit of reorganization happening within NOS, but it's primarily focused very much on the modeling between co-ops and OCS. And Dr. Steve Smith from Weather Service is the acting lead for that group. And so as part of that effort, there was, we were given permission, we NOS were given permission to advertise for 4 modeling positions. But of course, because this organization doesn't really exist on paper yet, 2 of the positions are with co-ops. One is with OCS and one is with IOOS. But they were all they will be hired off of a single announcement that was published back in March. So this is all part of this broader effort by NOS headquarters to consolidate all NOS modeling activities into one unit. Next slide. There isn't a whole lot out publicly, I don't think, yet about what NOAA's official priorities are, but we did have Dr. Jacobs come and speak to the advisory committee, the IOOS advisory committee, our external group of experts that provides advice to NOAA. And these were some of the priorities he laid out in terms of and being a world leader in numerical weather prediction, unleashing the ocean economy, National Weather Service transformation and modernization, and modernizing NOAA observing systems. I think that IOOS can align pretty well with many of those priorities. And there's also, we're engaging with work on AI as well in NOAA, NOS, and across the IOOS enterprise. Interest of time, I'm going to switch to the book update. So book is the benefits of Ocean Observation Catalog. I'm going to cover some recent programmatic work that we've been doing in the office. In the fall, we revamped the website to improve the user experience and aesthetics. And there's an embedded search application. We are currently developing an embedded AI assistant to help users synthesize summaries of topics or geographic regions across the use cases. There are currently 15 peer-reviewed published use cases, mostly from the IOOS regional associations. So we are actively soliciting more use cases from the RAs and other NOAA programs. We're also experimenting with using AI to generate initial drafts on certain topics of interest that we can send to potential authors as a starting point to help lower the barrier of entry for submissions. And we are in the process of transitioning book to a permanent host somehow through the Global Ocean Observing System. And that will be this summer. So more details to come on that. Next slide. IRA Topic Area 2 is a new venture for all of us in how we work together, right? I think we are expanding how we work across regions, and IRA Topic 2 has really been an excellent motivation to help us do that better. It's been impacted by the staffing losses and changes in the office. The office engagement in this coordination with the RAs has shifted from Derek Snowden to Dave Easter and now Becky Baltes as the program office rep. We are continuing to work on coordination and aligning our communication and expectations from the office to keep everything stable. I do encourage us all to keep in mind the overarching goal is to have greater integration, cooperation, and collaboration among the RAs, and the program office is working toward national and pan-regional goals and greater efficiencies together. This doesn't erase the magic of the regions. It's really aiming to make the whole greater than the sum of the parts. So I think as we continue to evolve in this and learn what works and what doesn't work, it'll help us identify next directions for pan-regional asset management after IRA. Harmful algal bloom funding. The NHAVON pilot project process will be very similar to last year. Project ideas are due April 26th. Tiffany Vance remains the lead on that. Just for awareness as well, the NCOS Competitive Research Program NOFOs are out, and they have 2 funding opportunities to drive innovation in harmful algal bloom toxin detection and prevention, control, and mitigation strategies. So letters of interest are due today, actually, and applications are due May 14th. I mentioned the OTT NOFO already. Applications are due July 16th. And we are working on an MBON, the Marine Biodiversity Observing Network, NOFO, but that won't be published until next fiscal year. Next slide. There have been a number of updates regarding high-frequency radar. At the spring meeting in March, we held an HFR strategic planning session focused on the higher-level strategic direction and prioritization for the network. There are also ongoing discussions related to HFR governance, communication, coordination, and data competence happening. The HFR Net DAC as you're hopefully aware, has transitioned from Court C into NOAA and NESDIS, and it's being elevated to the production tier as an internal NOAA system in FY26. This means that it's reached NESDIS's fully operational level of operation, ensuring that the live, fully supportive service remains stable, predictable, and highly available. HFR data and HFR assimilating models were used over 9,000 times by the Coast Guard's SAROPS in 2025. And we are looking forward to some quality assurance improvements with Coast Guard to boost this utilization further. And we've also been looking to expand IOOS wave measurements that are collected with HFR in addition to the currents. So I'm excited to see these areas of improved governance with high frequency radar, and that can serve also as another model for how we can manage other national assets in the future. Glider coordination, as we're getting closer to hurricane season, this will highlight the glider coordination effort from 2025. The IOOS-led Hurricane Glider Collaboration celebrated its 8th successful coordinated field campaign last year. For the 2025 season, there were 79 glider missions flown with 17 partner institutions participating. The missions transmitted 90,916 temperature and salinity profiles, and that all equates to a total of 3,466 days at sea. So well done to all those involved. Special thank you to Kathy Bailey in the IOOS office for her work on this effort. A 9th field campaign is currently being planned, and a concept of operations plan is currently being circulated among NOAA offices. Next slide. So I just wanted to follow Kim's congratulations on your new board members and on your new GIS administrator and developer. Congratulations. I know sustainability is key, and also having new partners and new faces is also welcome. Thank you for your advocacy on the Hill. So of course, with your help, as I mentioned, the IOOS regional line saw an additional $5 million in the FY26 budget. And huge thanks to Mississippi Representative Mike Ezel for co-sponsoring the IOOS Act reauthorization bill in the House. So lots of really great leadership coming out of GCOOS. I also want to give a kudos to the Louisiana State University COMT project, which has been very successful and made major technological breakthroughs with their Gulf of America coastal hazards forecast system. Well done. And lastly, I'll highlight some community meetings. But first, I wanted to recognize 2 important IOOS meetings will be held in the GCOOS region in the fall. So thanks to GCOOS for hosting the IOOS Fall Meeting that will be in New Orleans, and the IOOS Code Sprint that will be held in Corpus Christi, Texas in November. And my last slide, no rest for the weary. There's a lot of community workshops happening in the next several months. So here's a look ahead. Lots of great work is happening really across IOOS, and I'm sure many of you will be engaged in some or all of these workshops. So we've got everything from HFR with the ROG workshop, UG2, DMAC, Code Sprint, the GCOOS Marine Life cross-disciplinary workshop, and a modeling community of practice workshop. So I'm already tired just thinking about all these workshops. So it's been a year, and as you can see, we continue to thrive. I can't wait to see what the next year holds in store. And thank you for continuing to make this observing system concept that we call IOOS work for NOAA, the nation, and the world.